Hello. It's your girl Kathleen, aka Cassadine, aka Sodine, and welcome to another episode of Sodine's Soapbox. Yes. Here on Sodine's Soapbox is where we rant about all things love, life, and the pursuit of music. Get into it. Well, y'all. It is literally the last weekend before we step into the new year. Y'all, I feel like December came and went, child. Like after Thanksgiving, December was like, what's up, y'all? All right, I'm out. Like, just like that. Okay? It's crazy. You blinked and December was gone. But yeah, this is basically the last episode of 2022 and we're gonna have a good episode. But let's get a couple things out the way. So if you are a first time listener, what's up? What's up? How you doing? How you doing? If you are a returning listener, welcome back. Welcome back. I want you to get comfortable. I want you to relax. Grab you some wine, grab you some tea, grab you some coffee, depending on what time it is. Pull up a chair, get comfortable, get relaxed because we are just going to have a little conversation. We're going to chit chat today, okay? We are just going to chit chat today. So we have a pretty good episode today. I know I say that all the time, but it's always a good episode. But yeah, relax. We a family. We're going to have a good time today and we're going to have a good episode. All right. But y'all already know before we jump on in and get this car running, y'all know what time it is. Please follow your girl on the socials. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The handle is Shameless Listo on all platforms. That's ShamelessLissto. Come talk to me, come chat with me. Let me know. Do you have any plans for the New Year's? How are you breaking in the New Year's? Are you going to be chilling at home in your pajamas? Are you going out to a New Year's Eve party? Are you like me, who was a church girl, and you're going to be ringing in the New Year at church? At a, is it still called a watch party? I know some churches don't call it a watch party no more, but are you gonna be at a watch party? What you gonna do for New Year's Eve? Let me know. For me, I'm be chilling at home. I pretty much have been at home for the past couple of years. Obviously, because of the Pandarosa, the first 2 years I've been chilling at home. But this year, I was debating on what I really wanted to do for New Year's, if I'm being honest. There was a kind of like Great Gatsby themed New Year's Eve party that's going around here in Korea, specifically in Seoul, and I kind of wanted to go. I have a friend that's actually going to be spending New Year's Eve with me. I asked them if they wanted to go, but they're still a little bit leery about crowds within reason, obviously. So I was willing to go, but I didn't want to make them uncomfortable. So we're just gonna kick it at my house, probably order some food, do a little bit of karaoke and whatever else we feel like doing, and then just ring in the new year that way. And then obviously New Year's Day is on a Sunday. So we'll just go to church and leave it at that. So that's basically my New Year's Eve plan for now. But yeah, so I'd love to know what your New Year's Eve plan is. Chat with me on the socials and let me know. All right. So as y'all already know, we have our usual Sodians update, and I have quite a few things I want to update y'all on. Some serious, some jokes, but we gonna dive into it. I'm gonna start off light, and then we'll kind of go from there. So first and foremost, I'm kind of thinking about maybe changing my intro, not entirely, but obviously y'all know I start off with the hello. I started that honestly because I didn't know how to start my intro or start the podcast. So I just jumped in with the hello. I know a lot of people like it, but I literally was like, I'm going to just say the first thing that came to mind, which was authentic and generally me. So I was thinking of different ways I could start it, with maybe like mixing a little bit of Creole with some Korean, because obviously your girl lives in Korea. Obviously your girl is Haitian. So some ideas I had was to say like Annyeong faisait. So Annyeong being Korean for hi, faisait is Creole for brothers and sisters. So basically it would start off like Annyeong faisait. It's your girl Kathleen, aka Kathleen, aka Sorin. So that's one. That's one option. Or the other option is Sakpase Chingus. It's your girl Kathleen, aka Kathleen, aka Sorin. And Sakpase is basically what's up in Creole. And then Chingu means friends in Korean. So I could start off with Sakpase Chingus. It's your girl Kathleen, aka Kathleen, aka Sorin. Now, me personally, I'm leaning towards number two. But I would love to know what your thoughts are. Do I keep the original intro? Do I change it to option number one, which is Annyeong Fuezese, which Annyeong again means hello in Korean. Fuezese is brothers and sisters, because we're a family here. Or Sakbase Chingu, with Sakbase is basically what's up in Creole, and Chingu is friends in Korean. So hit me up on my socials. Maybe I'll put like a poll up on Twitter and Facebook and my Instagram to see which one you guys like. So I'll do a poll of keeping the original, doing Anyong Flezesea and Sakbase Chingus to see which one. And then maybe starting with, we'll say next season, because I still need to wrap up season two. So maybe season three, I'll add that as the new intro if we decide on a new intro. So that's the first thing I wanted to update on. Second thing, speaking of season three, this podcast is coming up on its 1 year anniversary. Y'all, can you believe it? February 4th, which happens to also be my sister's birthday, is this podcast 1 year anniversary. Like, I'm actually shook. I can't believe that I've been doing this for 1 year, especially the hurdle mentally, emotionally, spiritually I went through to even start this. And the fact that I've been consistently doing this for 1 year is actually crazy to me, like legitimately crazy. And so I wanted to do something for the 1 year anniversary, not really sure what though. I have some ideas up my sleeve, but again, as my audience, I'd love to know like what you guys would like to see. Do you want me to maybe talk about like what it's like doing this for the whole year? Do you want me to do like a recap, a story time, or maybe, I don't know. Because again, I didn't imagine doing this podcast for a whole year. So now that I am here, I'd like to do something to celebrate it. So I'm curious as to what your thoughts are. Maybe I do a live stream of the 1 year anniversary if there's people who will join. Maybe I do a live stream and people jump in and I do a episode that way. We'll see. But I'm curious as to what you guys would like to see for the 1 year anniversary, because I'm excited. But like I said, I have a couple ideas up my sleeve, but I'd also just like to hear from my audience to see what you guys would like to see as well. But I know I'm definitely excited about that. So yeah, that's pretty much that as far as the 1 year anniversary. I'm definitely excited. I'm definitely excited about that. I'm going to switch gears and talk about something serious because I like to do the sandwich method. Do a little lighthearted. We're going to do something serious, and then I'm going to kind of end it with something a little bit more lighthearted so it doesn't feel too heavy. So, obviously, like, by the time I put this episode out, there's been a couple things that's just been going on that's kind of been pretty heavy in like the news. We recently heard about the passing of DJ Twitch from the Ellen DeGeneres show. And, you know, it got me thinking. I'm sure you guys have noticed, obviously, like come wintertime, seasonal depression is real. while mental health is definitely something I advocate for, it always just breaks my heart that around this time of the year, there's like a very high increase in suicide and things like that. And while you always see those different memes and posts about check in on your strong friends, check in on your strong friends, while I do advocate for that, I think, and I've said this before on multiple episodes, I think we just need to check in on our friends in general. Check in on our circle, check in on the people around us, because a lot of us are going through silent battles and we don't know it. It's not until it's too late that we're like, dang, I should have called them more. I should have spent more time with them, X, Y, and Z. Because while it may seem that people have a smile on their faces, they literally could be hurting. Because I can't tell you how many times I saw people talking about DJ Twitch and saying that, like, he had everything, he was smiling, he was this, that, and the third. And clearly, this man was hurting on the inside. It breaks my heart because this, unfortunately, is like not the first time we've heard stories like this. I remember the story of Chester Bennington, the lead singer of Linkin Park, and he had just did, I believe, the carpool karaoke maybe a few days or a couple weeks prior to him taking his own life. And that was tragic and that was heartbreaking in it, even in and of itself. So nobody again knew what he was suffering. While I do understand that there's only so much somebody can do to really help someone who is just mentally going through so much turmoil and so much agony, in a sense, or pain I should say, who's going through so much pain, I think sometimes we live in a world where we get so wrapped up in ourselves that we really just don't take the time to reach out to one another. And again, I talked about this in my last episode about how we're always just like, oh, if like we just stop texting people all of a sudden, they're like, oh, I don't have to let people know what's going on. If I just fall off, I just fall off. But like when we have situations like this where people fall into deep holes of depression and you're just like, oh, I don't owe people my time. I don't owe people an explanation of why I fall off. And while some people may say it's not the same thing, but like in these situations, like if you're going through a hard time, I feel like you should be letting people know, like, hey, I'm struggling. And even if like someone can express that, I should still be allowed to check in on you and be like, hey, you've been distant. You've been disappearing. What's going on? And the whole, oh, I don't have to tell you what's going on with me. Like, if I decide to fall off and, fall back, that's on me. Like, I don't owe anybody my time. Like, nah. And again, I'm not saying like he didn't have a community. I'm not saying he didn't have a group of people who didn't love him and adore him and poured into him and prayed over him. But again, I just noticed that around this time, there's just a very like a large increase of depression and mental health issues that happen, and people just have a really difficult time surviving the holidays and the winter seasons. So I feel like this time just extend a little bit more kindness and grace and love, and hug on someone, pray for someone, be there for them, support them in some way, shape, or form, because you just never know what battles people are going through. So I just, while I don't like the whole statement of checking on your strong friends, at the same time, please check on your strong friends because they feel like they literally have to carry the whole world on their shoulders because it's a trauma response. They feel like they've had to carry the whole world because they've never had anybody else to depend on, or they've depended on people and they let them down and they're just like, you know what, I can do it by myself. So I just wanted to touch on that because it really just broke my heart to see the love and the joy he had and how he lit up a room. But it's always the people who light up the rooms that need the most grace and need the most people around them to just kind of pray for their well-being and their mental health because they struggle a lot. Like think about the Robin Williams and the Chester Benningtons, like those people who light up the room when they walk into them, they're fighting a lot of inner demons and they're having mental turmoils simultaneously. So it's just heartbreaking. But okay, I'm gonna shift gears because, like I said, I didn't want to get too depressing with that. So, with that being said, we're still in the Sodian's life update, but I'm just gonna shift gears. I need Christian U from DPR to come to the front. Vimbaleo, I need to talk to you. Vimbaleo. Christian, I'm going to give you a Haitian middle name. Christian Jean Paul, you come to the front of the stage because I need to have a conversation with you, sir, immediately. For those of you who don't know, DPR stands for Dream Perfect Regime, and they're basically like a multi-genre music group. So some are rappers, some are singers, like R&B or rock singers, etc., etc. So there's multiple members in the group. For example, there are four founding members, which we're just gonna go there. The main members are DPR Ian, aka Christian Jean Paul U. There is DPR Live, DPR Cream, and DPR REM or REM. I'm not sure how he pronounces it. So they're a multi-genre group. But I want to talk to DPR Ian, aka Christian U. So this man has been going on tour for quite some time, right? This man did a whole US tour, and I had a lot of friends who was going to his concert, and I'm not even gonna hold you. Your girl was bitter. Your girl was hating. But I was like, it's cool. It's cool. It's whatever. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It is what it TI is. Cool. He was going to Florida. He was going to New York. He was going to California. He was going to the Midwest. Like, he was hitting up different cities. And I'm following on Instagram, documenting the entire thing. Again, I'm hating, but I'm like, cool. It is what it is. Whatever. Then he does an international tour. This man goes to Jakarta. This man goes to Tokyo. This man goes to Singapore. This man goes to Vietnam. This man is going everywhere. This man went to London. This man went to Paris. I mean, he was going everywhere. Everywhere. Nowhere was Korea on his tour list. And I was just like, dang, he's not coming to Korea. My thinking was he used to live here. While a lot of the DPR members are Korean, I figured because like there's kind of like this, not necessarily bad blood, but just meh ordeal with like the music industry here. He's not performing, or they, I should say, they're not performing in Korea. So, according to the tour dates, because I was watching them, the last show was in Sydney, Australia, his hometown. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm fine. It's okay. I'm self soothing myself. It's fine. It's okay. It's fine. We're not mad. We're not mad. Then this vagabond, because I can't cuss him out on my show. This vagabond, this this man decides at the last minute to add two shows in Seoul, Korea. Should I be excited? Absolutely. But I can't. I can't. Christian, why would you add two shows to Korea and your girl's going to be nowhere in Korea at that time? I'm not even going to be in Korea at the dates he's choosing. He's coming to Korea in February, and I'm not even going to be in Korea. And no, I can't change my dates. No, I can't be here at that time. So I have been sitting here bitter and hating on all my US friends who could see him. And then I can finally see him. But guess what? I can't see it. Who's mad? Caillou meme? Me. I am big mad. Put a cape on me. I'm super mad. Super mad. You hear me? Super mad. I saw him post the tour shows for Korea and I threw my phone across the room. Thank God I have a screen protector and a very hard case because my phone would have probably shattered the way I threw my phone across the room. But I threw my phone across the room. Christian, Jean Paul, you, I got a problem. Because why would you do that? Why would you do that? I was looking every single day, every single week. Like, oh, is he gonna add Korea to his dates? No, not one time. And then at the last minute, you go add Korea and he's adding 2 shows here. Not one, two, dos. And I can't go to either one of them. So now I'm going to miss this man perform. Do you know how livid I am right now? I am beyond livid. Like, beyond. I've been wanting to see this man for the past 6 months while he's on tour. And now your girl can't. I can't. I cannot. I am pissed. So I just had to get that off my chest. I legit just had to get that off my chest because why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why? And everybody's like, oh, you'll see him next time. How many times have people said, oh, you'll see somebody next time? And then they decide, oh, this is my last tour. Like, look at Ari Lennox. Ari Lennox just said, this is her last tour. I'm not saying he gonna do that, but I mean, how many times somebody's been like, okay, their tour is finished, whatever. Then unforeseen circumstances happen, and they're like, oh, we're not going on tour no more, or whatever happens. Even right now, Janet Jackson is on tour, and I can't see her. You know what? I can't talk about this no more because I'm gonna get mad. I'm gonna get mad, and this whole episode is gonna be a rant about me getting mad about concerts and tours that I can't go on. So, and that's not what I came on here to talk about today. That's not what I came here to talk about. I came here to talk about the 22 things I learned about in the year 2022. So we're gonna get into that. So, because I could sit up here all day and rant about how angry I am about not seeing Christian and I can't see Janet. And Janet is on my bucket list to see. So we're not doing that today. We're not. We're gonna move right on off of this. We're gonna move right on off of this. So, nous fini. Parce que si me parler avec ça, c'est ma fait mal. If I keep going, I'm gonna be angry and my head gonna hurt. So we off of this. So what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna go into our church announcements and then we're gonna jump into today's episode. So here are your church announcements. All right, y'all already know your girl is a small content creator. There's only one thing that I ask of you, my listeners, and that's to show how much you love my podcast. So what I need for you guys to do is to head over to Podchaser and find this podcast. Leave your girl 4 or 5 stars. 5 stars is preferred. And to write 1 to 2 lines on why you love my podcast. Your girl is actually coming up on a whole year. Like, my baby's about to have her first birthday. And I would just really appreciate it if you would just rate my podcast 4 or 5 stars. And it has to be specifically Podchasers, because I know I have some listeners who listen on Google, who listen on Apple or Spotify. But the thing is that the recognition and the acknowledgement comes through Podchasers. That's where you get sponsorships. That's where you get any type of accolades. It comes through Podchasers. That's why I specifically indicate that's where you need to go. So here's what you guys need to do. Simple instructions. Simple. As a teacher, I'm going to give you the steps 1, 2, 3. Step number 1, go to podchaser.com. That's podchaser.com. Step number 2, find your favorite podcast. That's this one, Sorin's Soapbox. That's SORIN 'S SOAPBOX. Step number 3, when you find your favorite podcast, this one, you're going to leave me 4 or 5 stars. 5 stars is preferred. And then you're going to write 1 to 2 lines saying why you love this podcast. Okay? See? 3 easy steps. It be that said. Finito. Kunasa. Finished. And that's it. And it does so much for someone like me who's a small content creator just trying to grow her platform.
That's all I ask, and I thank you in advance for helping me, because then it allows me to continue to make content just for you. So again, I thank you in advance, and that is the end of our church announcements.
Okay, so like I said, today's episode is going to be about the 22 things I've learned in 2022. Because, child, this year has been a roller coaster ride for me. Like, I feel like somebody's been juggling me up in the air. Instead of it being me juggling a bunch of things, it feels like I've been juggled up through the air. Okay, so we are going to talk about the 22 things that 2022 has taught me. And some of these I'm going to explain and give a little bit more context. Some of these I feel like are self explanatory, but we're going to just dive right in. Okay. So, number one thing that 2022 has taught me, or that I have learned in 2022, honestly, real simple. If you've been listening to my show at all, I've talked about this a lot, but honestly, God got me. Like, in all honesty, God got me. Obviously, my very first episode was delayed but and not denied. If you heard that episode, you will know God got me. And I'm just using that as one incident out of the many times that literally God got me. There are so many other examples in my life where I was like, I don't even know how this situation is going to work out. And God is like, what you worried about? I got this. I got you. And I'm like, you right? You right. I don't know why I'm tripping. So the number one thing that I won't even say that I've learned, but I think I've just been reminded, especially after the Ponder replay, is that God got me. So that's the first and foremost thing that I've learned, or that's been reinforced. I'll say for number one is that's been reinforced in 2022. Number two, I came up with this after my very first mentorship meeting. This might have been in 2021. I'm honestly not sure. But I think this was more 2022 that I learned this through my very first mentorship meeting, and it came about through a TED Talk, and it's get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And child, if that hasn't even been my entire experience with being in Korea in general, that this has been an uncomfortable experience. But 2022, I have really forced myself to become uncomfortable, and then I've been placed in uncomfortable situations, but I've learned to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations and try to make the best of it. Try to just navigate through it and navigate with grace and be positive about it. And not the toxic positive, but just like, okay, every situation is learnable. I know that's not a real word, but every situation can be understood. You can learn it, you can navigate through it, you can adjust. And so I'm like, all right, let me just be comfortable with this situation, because guess what? There's nothing in life that should be comfortable. And if you are comfortable in it, it means you're going to be lazy in that situation. You're going to let your guard down, and that's when things can happen, and not necessarily good things. So I've just learned, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because you're going to be in rooms that are not necessarily comfortable, in terms of like, maybe you have to give speeches, maybe you have to talk to board execs, maybe you have to do presentations, or maybe you have to travel to places that you've never traveled to before, or do solo things that you've never done before, or speak to people that you've never spoken to before. You're going to have to be uncomfortable in order to push yourself into next levels. You're going to have to get uncomfortable in order to get into new rooms, new spaces, new levels. So that's something that this year has taught me. Lesson number 3, I always have like this little tagline of what each year is going to be for me. I think I just got that from the church, because the church is like, oh, this is the year of new beginnings, or this is the year of blessings, or this is the year that God says da da da. So even on my own, God has kind of continued that for me, because obviously living in Korea, I haven't really gotten that same message here, but God kind of revealed to me that this was the year of so much more. And I was like, okay, God, what are you doing here? But as I said before, I started this podcast and I started traveling and I started doing a lot of things on my own. I had therapy and I realized that there was so much more to myself. There was so much more to my environment. There was so much more to the relationships that I had. There was like layers, there was depth. So while some people may think so much more is a tangible ordeal, so much more can mean a spiritual thing. It can mean an emotional thing. It can mean a spiritual thing. So this year, God told me that this was the year of so much more. And I feel like that was definitely spot on for me. And I feel like it was literally the tip of the iceberg. I don't even feel like I really got to the depth of the so much more that God really had for me. I feel like it's just the beginning and that it's going to continue on into next year. But I feel like there's going to be layers to that so much more. I hope that makes sense. But I feel like that was kind of one of the main things God told me, that this was the year of so much more, that dreams were going to start coming to fruition, that seeds that I had sown years ago were going to start coming in, but they were going to have interest added to it. And that kind of would start trickling down for me. So that was number 3. Number 4, and we talked about this in my Right Here, Right Now episode. So number 4 is that I am present in the moment, carpe diem, that I am right here, right now. So if you need more context, I recommend going back to that episode where I do talk about it in depth. But he did teach me that instead of being so focused on my future, being so focused ahead, that I learned to be right here, right now, in the moment. Number 5, I did an episode with my mentor, aka Ashley, on her A 3-Day Sister Show. If you didn't check that out, I did post it on my page, but please check it out. I did an episode called Dream with No Boundaries. That is another thing that 2022 taught me, is to learn to dream with no boundaries. Essentially saying to have childlike faith, to believe that my wildest dreams can come to pass, and that even my own dreams are to the ground in comparison to the dreams that God has for me. Again, I've said this before, but my ways are not his ways. My thoughts are not his thoughts. My dreams are not his dreams for me, because he has so much more. But I really feel like this was the year I started to take hold of dreaming with no boundaries and not getting in my own way of the possibilities of the things that I could have and I can imagine, and how far and how big my dreams could be. So that's number 5. Number 6 that 2022 taught me is to open myself to new things, people, and experiences. If you've been following my journey here in Korea from the first episode of this show till now, you'll know on all of my Sodine's life updates, I've talked about my solo dates. I've talked about the festivals I've attended, going to the orchestra by myself, going to the movies. I've talked about the networking that I've done, the friends that I've made. Again, stepping out of my comfort zone in opening myself up, and going back to number 2, learning to be comfortable with being uncomfortable and placing myself in experiences that honestly, truly, I don't think I would have done it had I been back in the States. I think being in a new country, being here by myself, has forced me to open myself up to new experiences, and has allowed me to learn more about myself and understanding who I am as a person, as a woman, as a Black woman, as a Christian, all those layers about myself. And so I've been able to really just delve in and understand who I am, apart from anything else, like apart from how my education defines me. Because sometimes we use our degrees to define us. Sometimes we use our job title to define us, or we use our spouses or our children to define us. And I'm learning how to define myself outside of any of those things and just be able to figure out what my intrinsic value is. And I think right now that's really important to me because at whatever point I get married, at whatever point I have children, those will be added layers to who I am. But for now, I need to know who I am as an individual and understand my intrinsic value outside of anything materialistic. Lesson number 7 is to forgive and set boundaries. Again, this could be considered self explanatory. This is a tried and true gem that forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you. Because when you don't forgive, your hands are basically closed and you're not allowed to receive the new things that life wants to bless you with, wants to grant you with. I never believe that you should forget the hurt and pain that you have, but instead, you should set boundaries to protect yourself and ensure that the pain and hurt never occurs again. So I'm a firm believer in forgiving everybody because it allows you to just open up your hands to receive whatever God has for you. Because I recognize the power in forgiveness. It's not easy, definitely not easy. Because trust me, been there, done that. Lesson number 8, I've learned to fill up my cup so it's easier to pour into others. Again, this is a lesson I've said multiple times on multiple episodes that you can't serve from an empty cup. You can't help people from an empty cup. You can't be your best self from an empty cup. There's no way that you can operate in this life or operate in this world and your cup is not filled. You're not pouring into yourself, you're not loving on yourself, you're not praying for yourself, you're not meditating, you're not praying, you're not in your quiet time, you're not doing any self-care, you're not doing anything to take care of the primary person you spend your entire life with. If you're not taking care of the person you spend your entire life with, how do you expect to show up as your best self to everybody else? And a lot of the times we make sure everyone else is good, but we never make sure that we're good. We never make sure that we're in our right mind, we're in our right spirit, we're right physically, emotionally. We're not getting therapy. We're not doing any of the things to take care of self. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't pour from a broken cup. Because a lot of the times we think it's about also making sure there's content in the cup. We also have to make sure the cup is of proper quality because you could be full in the cup. The cup could have water. You could have water in the cup, but if the cup is shattered, if it has cracks in it and the water's spilling out on all sides, the cup, it can only do but so much. So by taking care of you, you make sure that not only is there actual water inside the cup, but you actually make sure you take care of the container itself. I feel like people forget that too. People always worry about like, oh, you can't pour from an empty cup. Yes, correct. But you also can't pour from a cup that's got cracks in it, that's got bruises on it, etc. Because once the cup is cracked, what do? Some people try and put tape on it. They try to do the You gotta make sure the cup is good too. So number 8 for me is to fill up my cup so it's easier to pour into others. Number 9 is generosity makes room for more. And I think that's pretty simple. It's better to give than to receive. But I feel like when you sow seeds of generosity, it just simply means that you're making room for a harvest to come back to you. And you'll always have the ability to give. You'll always. Lesson number 10. Now, I know the saying goes, more money, more problems. But I heard it flipped, more money, more purpose. And this actually connects with lesson number 9 about the generosity. I believe, and I've learned in this year, that the more money you're blessed with, the more purpose you can fulfill. Because the money that you're blessed with provides you with more resources you have so you can bless others, so it can be used for that purpose. A lot of times we're blessed with finances And we have a tendency to use it on ourselves, and then we start to notice that the well runs dry. But if you use the funds that you're blessed with and you bless other people, you apply that with the generosity, your well will never run dry. So the more money you receive, the more purpose you will have, because then you'll have the freedom to pay off someone's student loans, to buy somebody a car, to be an angel investor in somebody's business, or just be an investor in general. You'll be able to you'll be able to take care of a family who's in need for the holidays, or just in general. You'll have the resources instead of saying, "Dang, I wish, someone could do this, that, and the third." You could be that someone. Why? Because you've been blessed with the money to do so. You've been blessed with the resources. So instead of saying the whole old mantra or old saying of more money, more problems, I believe more money, more purpose. Lesson number 11: Jesus and therapy have allowed me to find my authentic voice. That's very evident through my podcast. If you haven't noticed that, child, I don't know what to tell you. But I realized through Jesus and therapy, I'm starting to find my footing, my grounding. Whereas before, I might have leaned too far to the left or too far to the right. But the combination of the two have definitely allowed me to find my identity and find my authentic voice. Lesson number 12, I'm not going to dwell on it too much, but crying is therapeutic. I'm just going to leave it at that. Crying is therapeutic. Lesson number 13: my peace of mind is precious. It be that said. At my big age, there is nothing I'm allowing to mess with my peace of mind. If I even smell chaos from a mile away, I'm out. I'm protecting my peace of mind at all costs. Lesson number 14: I've learned to not subscribe to the strong black woman trope. I've told y'all this before and I'm going to say it again. Soft life me, please. I Do not call me a strong black woman, because then that means you don't think I need help. You think I can carry on more. You think I'm interdependent. Interdependent, I'm not independent. I need people. I need help. Please don't call me a strong black woman. Soft life me, please. Spoil me, the whole nine. I want nothing to do with it, because when you think I'm resilient, you think, oh, let me add more to her plate, or how much struggle can I put her through because she can bounce back. Nope, it ain't me. Not I, said the cat. Not I. Lesson number 15: rest is just as important as productivity. Child, this is a hard one for me. I'm still learning it, because as a Haitian girl who Saturday, there was no relaxing. The first thing I heard was leve, 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 which means wake up, wake up, wake up, so I can clean the house on Saturday. And all I heard was Haitian music playing throughout the house. You gotta get up and clean. So when I be sitting in my house on a Saturday and I be sleeping, oh my God, I have to battle with the thought of being lazy. But I have to remember, girl, you just worked for 8 hours, Monday through Friday, every day, 40-hour week. You deserve rest. Rest is just as important as productivity. It's balance. It is balance. God even rested after he worked. It's biblical. Girl, you need rest. So I be having to tell myself that rest is also necessary. So let's get into the next lesson. Lesson number 16: invest in my friends and family. And this is not just monetary, but invest in them in quality time. Invest in your family and friends' love language. So if it's quality time, give them quality time. If it's acts of service, give them acts of service. If it's physical touch, physical touch. Whatever their love language is, invest in it. But the fact of the matter is, spend time with them, connect with them. Lesson number 17: self care is more than just wine, bubble baths, and movies. I did a whole episode on whether self care is a trend or a necessity. You can go back and listen to it where I delved further. But I basically talked about self care is about taking care of your mind, your body, your soul. and making sure that you're doing things that feed you emotionally, spiritually, whether it be therapy, whether again connecting with family and friends, whether it is forgiving, whether it is not necessarily cutting people off, but figuring out how to reconcile with certain people. There are different forms of self care, and not all of it is necessarily aesthetically appealing. Lesson number 18, I'm going to fail. There are some things I do that will fail, but it doesn't mean that I am a failure. I'm going to say that one more time. I'm going to fail. And some things that I do will fail, but none of these things mean that I am a failure. I had to really learn that this year because your girl is a perfectionist. I am a perfectionist, and therefore I feel like if anything I put my hands to fail or don't work out, it automatically means that I'm a failure. And I had to learn this year, and I'll probably continue to learn this lesson, that it doesn't mean that I'm a failure. I'm not a failure if something doesn't work out. It's just a lesson that I have to learn. It just means I have to go back to the drawing board, figure out what worked, what didn't work, and how to revamp it. But at no point in time does it mean I am a failure. Lesson number 19, take up space in every room I enter. No more imposter syndrome, basically, is what that means. I am not shrinking. You can choke if you see me, because I'm not breaking myself down into bite-sized pieces for you. If you gotta choke when you see me, then I hope somebody knows the Heimlich, because I'm not breaking myself into bite-sized pieces so that I'm a little bit more digestible for you. I mean this in the kindest way possible, but you can choke. Lesson number 20, my voice is necessary. My voice is necessary. As I'm getting older, I realize that there is a lot of purpose through my voice. While I used to not necessarily feel embarrassed, but I had a lot of people try and shut down my voice, shut down the things that I say and things that I do with my voice. As I'm getting older, I recognize that my voice is necessary. It's a part of my purpose. It's a part of my calling. And so it's necessary. Lesson number 21, I'm funny and entertaining. You can't tell me nothing. I put this on here because I've had a lot of people, again, same way people trying to tear me down about my voice. I've had people try to tear me down about being funny and entertaining. And I get it that I may not be for everybody. And that's fine, because I'm not trying to be for everybody. But the fact of the matter is that your girl is funny and entertaining. And I love making people laugh. I like telling stories, and I like just being entertaining in whatever capacity that is. Like, I just enjoy it. I like making people laugh. And a lot of times I be dead serious too. That's what makes it funny. Cause I be talking and people be laughing. I'm like, you laughing, but I'm dead serious. Like, I love making people laugh. And so I had to learn that, girl, you are funny. You are entertaining. And people like you because you're authentic and you choose to be nobody else but you. So I had to put that on here for myself. And then last but not least, lesson number 22, I am learning to trust God in everything. So it ties back to number 1, that God got me. Because the last lesson is that I have to trust him in everything. And I'm going to walk into 2023 knowing that he got me and knowing that I'm trusting him in everything. I honestly don't know what 2023 is going to bring me. I don't have any expectations except for the fact that whatever God has planned for me on the other side is going to be great. It's going to be magnificent. It's going to be bigger than anything that I could have imagined. But I know for a fact that I am walking into the best and greatest and most blessed year of my life. And it's only going to go up from here. Because one thing's for sure, the doors that God has opened for me, no man can close. And the doors that God has closed for me, no man can open. And what God has for me, is for me, and nobody can take them from me. So I look forward to 2023, and I wish everybody a happy new year. And so with that, your girl is off her soapbox. See ya.